Said you want to learn what honor your masters means, right? Give me that script. So what did they tell? What in the church did they teach that means?
Oh, I just read it myself, and I was in disagreement with that.
Okay, but why is that?
Why would I honor my slave master?
That's not what it's talking about.
Well, that's why I interpreted that, and when I took it to somebody to the church, they couldn't answer.
But you know why you interpreted it that way?
No, I don't.
Because your slave masters told you that's what it meant.
Bring it out.
That's not even what, it don't even say honor slave masters. Go ahead and read it.
Yes, sir. Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 5. Servants, be obedient to them that are your masters, according to the flesh.
So it says, servants, be obedient to them that are your masters according to the flesh. Did it say anywhere in their slave master?
No, it says servants.
Yeah, servants. Let's see what it's talking about. Go ahead.
Leviticus chapter 25 and verse 39. And if thy brother that dwelleth by thee,
it said, thy brother that dwelleth by thee. Read.
Be waxen poor.
Said that person's going poor. And they waxing, they're living by you, but they have lost everything that they have. Read on.
And be sold unto thee. Thou shalt not compel him to serve as a bond servant.
So it said, if he be sold unto you, meaning you took him in as a servant so he can work for you. For example, you know Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, right? Jeffrey, he was a servant, but that would have been a brother, because that's a people.
Teach.
They didn't treat him. They didn't treat him the way the slave masters treat us. We were raped, pillaged, and all kinds of evil manners happened to us. Is that how what happened to Jeffrey? No, he was treated like family. That's what this is talking about. Read it again.
Servants, be obedient to them that are your masters, according to the flesh.
So it said, obedient to them that are your masters according to the flesh. The flesh is talking about your brothers, your people. So just like that example where Jeffrey was working under Phil now, they were family. They treat him like family. He had his own room and everything inside the house, all of that.
Well, he really wasn't a servant, so that ain't a good example. He was
What do you mean he wasn't a servant? He got paid to be a butler there, right?
Right. That was a job.
That's a servant.
Bring it out. Okay.
Even if you say, for example, you at your job, if you go to your job right now, that's you get paid for labor. But there's a difference, because this said, according to the flesh. So this is talking about between you and your people. You're not talking about the people who brought you over here on slave ships, forced you over here on slave ships, killed you if you didn't do anything that they said, and then manipulated scriptures. That's not what that's talking about. You understand that a bit more now, bro? Listen to this, read.
The book of Colossians, chapter 3, verse 22. Servants, obey in all things your masters according to the flesh, not with eye service as men pleasers, but in singleness of heart.
So it said, obey your masters according to the flesh, not as eye service the man pleasers. Read on.
Fearing God, and whatsoever ye do, do it heartily, as to the Lord and not unto men.
So when you serving your brother, you're doing it not as man pleasers, meaning you're not excelling this person over somebody else. Go ahead and read that.
Colossians chapter 4 and verse 1. Masters, give unto your servants that which is just and equal.
Did they give us what was just and equal? Now, you understand that now? Because all of this is still going together. They ain't give us what was just and equal. They still ain't gave us what was just and equal to this day, very day. Now let's go back to the law. We're going to go back to the law on that very thing again, so you can get that understanding. Read.
Leviticus chapter 25, verse 39. And if thy brother that dwelleth be waxen poor, and be sold unto thee, thou shalt not compel him to serve as a bond servant, but as a hired servant.
So it said as a hired servant, because there's a difference between the bond servant and the hired servant. The bond servant, you can do whatever you wanted to them, but what does it say about your brother? Read.
He shall be with thee, and shall serve thee unto the year of Jubilee.
said unto the year Jubilee, read.
And then shall he depart from thee, both
It said he'll depart from you then, read.
he and his children with him, and shall
So is him and his family are going to be able to leave? Is that the case of what happened with us? No. In fact, they sold you from plantation to plantation to plantation.
bring it out.
They didn't do this with you. And why? Because they aren't your people. They're your enemies. So you understand that a bit more, bro? Want to finish that out?
Yes, sir. And then shall he depart from thee, both he and his children with him, and shall return unto his own family, and unto the possession of his fathers shall he return.
So you would have got to return to the possessions of your fathers. Did we ever go back to our homeland? No. We still here to this very day in servitude under the very same people.
That's right.
You're still a slave in this land. That's why they gun you down with no remorse and no repercussion, because nothing happens to them after they gun you down, right? Let me ask you something, bro. Here's an example. They teach you this, right? Like in them churches. Like the church that you went to ask that question. Is this an image that's up in there?
I ain't see that.
Okay, if it wasn't in there, but this is exactly what they teach you. That's why your pastor had no answer for you. So I'm like, matter of fact, so they had no answer at all. So what did he, I'm just curious, what did he say to you, period?
He told me just it was an interpretation used in the older days.
Okay, that it's an interpretation. Give me that in Corinthians about having a saying, speaking one accord.
Yes, sir.
Interpretations, matter of fact, give me that in 1 Peter first.
Gotcha. Yes, sir.
There is no private interpretation of scriptures. One, if they all in that church, they all have to be on the same accord.
That's right.
Read that.
The book of 2 Peter, chapter 1, and verse 20. Knowing this first, that no prophecy of the scripture is of any private interpretation.
Now, there is no private interpretation. In order to get understanding of scripture, you have to go precept upon precept. Meaning, like how you saw us going from one book to the next. We were getting that law. We went back to the book of the law to get understanding on what it was saying in Ephesians and Colossians. That's how they supposed to do it. Not, I'm going to just give you what I feel. That's what you get a lot in the church. You get that feel-good speech. Continue on with that.
For the prophecy came not in old time by the will of men, but holy men of God.
So it said it came not in old time by the will of man, but holy men of God. Meaning, God gave them the word and gave them the understanding on things that they were going to be teaching. So if a pastor isn't coming out of the Bible to show you that, it's the same thing when those white people, they didn't come out the Bible to show you. They took certain scriptures so they could keep our minds docile, so they could control us. That's what they were doing, and that's exactly what they did with that image right there. Because is that in the scriptures?
I ain't seen this image. I seen this image in the scripture.
You seen this image in the scriptures?
I seen it in the church. I ain't gonna say in the scriptures.
What is it in the scriptures?
I ain't never seen no pictures in the scriptures.
Oh, you ain't never seen no pictures in the scriptures. Now that's something we need to deal with. For example, what color are the people in the Bible? Let's start with Christ first, because we gonna deal with this image.
I have to meet with y'all another time.
No. Just stay a little bit longer, bro. We gonna deal with if this image is in the Bible. We gonna see which one's in the Bible, because there's images in the Bible. You just haven't been read them. You haven't been taught them. Read that.
Revelation chapter 1, verse 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool.
So the head on his head and the hairs on his face, they were like wool. Whose hair is wool?
His hair gets black.
No, I mean,
My hair ain't woolly though.
your hair ain't woolly?
No.
No, it's woolly.
It ain't.
Is it like his?
No, it ain't like his.
They like ain't really no in between there, bro. It's either like his or it's like Christ.
That's right.
But keep on.
As white as snow, and his eyes was as a flame of fire.
So it says his eyes were as a flame of fire. Now we can already see some wrong stuff that's wrong right here. First, his hair ain't white as snow. His hair ain't woolly. And his eyes are not as the flame of fire. And why does it say his eyes were as the flame of fire? Because he drunk wine in moderation. Christ wasn't a drunk, but he drunk wine in moderation. And when you drink wine, it turns the lids of your eyes red. Read on.
And his feet like unto fine brass.
Said his feet were like unto fine brass. What color is brass, bro?
Like brown.
It's like brown. But let's see what's going on. Let's get to more detail on that. Read on.
As if they burned in a furnace.
It said as if they burned in a furnace. Who's what is that gonna be, bro?
Black.
That's black. Right? That is black. So when you said you seen this in churches, hey, something wrong.
Yeah.
Something is very wrong. Cause the Jews are black. Let's see what color the people of the Bible are. The Jews, read.
Jeremiah chapter 14 and verse 2. Judah mourneth.
Said Judah mourneth. They were in mourning, read.
And the gates thereof languish.
The gates thereof languish, meaning the leadership is lacking. Read on.
They are black.
They are what?
They are black.
No, they white.
They are black.
It said they are black. So they painting the picture for you in the Bible the whole time. We gonna get another one. Because it says they are black. Read.
Unto the ground. And the cry of Jerusalem is gone up.
It said they are black unto the ground, meaning different shades of brown. Because you know when you dig in the dirt, the deeper you dig, the darker it gets. Give me that about Solomon.
Yes, sir.
Because here's somebody that they when you look up you look up this name on the internet, and what you gonna see? You type in Solomon on the internet, what you gonna see? You go ahead, just go ahead. I'm gonna let you go ahead and do it. Because what you gonna find out is you gonna see a bunch of false images.
That's right.
None of them ain't gonna match what this scripture say.
That's right.
So while you looking that up, we gonna read this. Read.
The Song of Solomon's, chapter 1, verse 1. The Song of Songs, which is Solomon's.
So, one thing that's taught amongst the nations is that this is talking about a woman. But it said the Song of Song, which is Solomon. It said a lot of people like to claim that a woman wrote this. But no, it said it was Solomon's song that he wrote it. Jump down to verse 5.
Verse 5. I am black.
He's what?
I am black.
He is black. Read on.
But comely.
You know that old term. You know that term we use, black but beautiful. Because that's what he's saying right there. But what did you get right there, bro?
White man.
You got a bunch of white men. That's not what Solomon said he is.
That's right.
You see the contradiction? You ask about that servants obey your masters. But what we have to understand is that our enemies did that.
That's right.
Just like then, the enemies painted their pictures. That's right. Our enemies painted the picture of themselves in the Bible. How did they do that? By iconoclasm. Because they didn't change any of the words. They just switched the images.
That's right. Change it up.
And gave you a new doctrine.
That's right.
That's all they did. They never went in the book itself and changed it up.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.